It started with a knock. Not a polite one either. The kind of knock that rattles a frame and tells you whoever's on the other side isn't just impatient. They're angry and entitled. My dog, Samson, a big German Shepherd Rescue, was already at the door, ears up, tail stiff, growling low. I paused my work call and checked the camera feed. And there she was, Karen, our neighborhood tyrant in yoga pants, a windbreaker, and a pink sun visor. She had a clipboard in one hand, and something black and blocky tucked in the waistband of her yoga pants. My stomach dropped. That was a gun. Let me back up. My name's Marcus. I'm just your average suburban guy. 38. Work from home as a systems engineer. Married to the love of my life, Dana. We bought our house 3 years ago in what looked like the perfect neighborhood. Quiet, clean, cul-de-sacs, bird feeders, friendly smiles. But looks? Deceiving. Behind those white fences and perfect lawns was a storm, and its name was Karen. She wasn't just on the HOA board. She was the board, at least in her own mind. She ran it like a dictatorship. She patrolled the streets like it was a military zone. We'd overgrowth? Fine. Decorations up a day past the season? Fine. Trash bin still out by 11 a.m.? Citation, warning, fine. Most people kept their heads down. We tried to avoid her, until she made avoiding her impossible. So, back to the knock. I opened the door just a crack, keeping Samson at my side. Morning, I said. Karen didn't smile. Her mouth was a tight line. The clipboard came up like a sword. You've received 3 notices for noncompliance, she said flatly. Your lawn is out of HOA regulation. I've documented weed growth in the front flower bed, a broken garden gnome, and excessive lawn edging over 2 inches. I blinked. Are you serious right now? She didn't answer. Instead, her hand dropped to her waistband. That's when I saw it fully. A Sig Sauer. Black, polished. No safety. Karen, I said low, is that a gun? You think you're above the law? She snapped, voice rising. You think you can ignore the rules and intimidate the rest of us with that beast? She pointed at Samson, who was growling louder now. I raised both hands. Let's all calm down, I said. Please. That's when Dana came out. She'd heard the yelling. She saw the gun. Karen, what the hell are you doing? She shouted, stepping between me and the door. Karen's eyes narrowed. You people need to learn boundaries, she hissed. This is my neighborhood. Her hand moved. She started to draw the gun. I don't know what I would have done next. I didn't have a weapon, just my body, my instinct, my wife standing in front of me. But then another voice, calm, deep, and unmistakably in control. Karen, it said, step away from the house. We all turned. Standing at the edge of my lawn was Tony. Tony was our neighbor 2 doors down. Always quiet, always polite. Mid-40s. Walked his dog early in the morning and again late at night. Wore hoodies, sunglasses, and drove a nondescript gray sedan. We never knew much about him. He kept to himself. And right now, he was walking toward us, slow, deliberate, both hands visible. Karen spun on him. This doesn't concern you, she barked. It does now, Tony said, because what you're doing, that's a federal crime. You just pointed a loaded firearm at a civilian. Step back. Put the gun on the ground. You threatening me? Karen growled. Tony didn't flinch. No, I'm identifying myself. Special Agent Anthony Ruiz, FBI, and you're about 10 seconds away from making the situation a whole lot worse. Karen froze. Then she laughed, shrill, disbelieving. You expect me to believe you're FBI? You're just some bum who walks mud around the block. Get off my... Tony reached into his jacket and pulled out a black leather case. He flipped it open. Gold badge. ID, clear as day. I've seen enough movies to know the real thing when I see it. Karen? She stopped laughing. Tony stepped closer. Put the gun down. She hesitated, then slowly dropped onto our welcome mat. Tony picked it up, cleared the chamber, and set it on the porch railing. Then he zip-tied her wrists with practiced ease. Police were already on the way. I'd hit the panic button. In our Ring app, during the standoff, when the cops arrived, lights flashing, they saw Karen restrained, Tony standing calm, and me still holding my wife like she'd nearly been ripped from me. The officer spoke with Tony, checked his credentials, confirmed his ID. Karen kept shouting about conspiracies, about being set up, about taking back her neighborhood from a riffraff. But it was over. Now here's the real twist. Tony had been investigating Karen for 6 months. Undercover. Quiet surveillance. Not just for her HOA bullying, but for something deeper. Embezzlement. Fraud. Turns out she'd been siphoning funds from the HOA account into shell companies. Falsifying maintenance invoices. Pocketing thousands while threatening to fine neighbors for unpainted fences and improperly stored recycling bins. He'd been building a case, slowly and quietly, and the day she pulled a gun on me, that was a nail in her coffin. Karen was arrested that day. Official charges. Aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Threatening a federal agent. Embezzlement. Wire fraud. Misuse of community funds. The neighborhood was stunned. People who'd lived in fear for years finally came forward. Stories poured out. Intimidation, retaliation, even illegal surveillance. Tony had it all documented. The case was airtight. And us, we were safe. Because the guy 2 doors down, the one Karen never saw as a threat, was the one watching her all along. Aftermath? Karen's house was seized. The HOA board was dissolved and restructured under federal supervision. Tony moved out 3 weeks later. His mission complete. Left a note on our porch that said, "Sorry I couldn't tell you sooner. Stay safe. You got good instincts." The neighborhood changed. People planted flowers again. Kids played in the street. Neighbors talked without looking over their shoulders. Dana and I still sit on our porch in the evenings. We still walk Samson down the block. And every time I pass that patch of concrete where Karen almost made a fatal mistake, I think about how fast everything can change. People think danger looks like ski masks and alleyways. But sometimes, it looks like a clipboard, a plastic visor, and a twisted sense of power. Sometimes evil hide behind perfectly trimmed hedges and HOA bylaws. But this time, justice was hiding right next door. If this story hit you like it hit me that day, don't keep it to yourself. Share it. Comment. Tell your own neighborhood war stories below. Because the truth? Sometimes the scariest people wear smiles. And sometimes the quietest ones wear badges. Subscribe if you want more real stories of everyday chaos, justice, and survival. Because what happened to me could happen to anyone. And the next time Karen knocks, make sure you know who's standing behind you.